things are still insane. So, where to even begin? Trump administration deploys Marines to Los Angeles, vows to intensify migrant raids. All right, so let's watch this video real quick. So this just came out, updated 18 minutes ago.
The Trump administration ordered U.S. Marines into Los Angeles on Monday in response to days of protests over federal immigration raids. The U.S. Northern Command released these photos of Marines preparing to deploy to the city. Officials said some 700 Marines based in Southern California were expected to reach Los Angeles Monday night or Tuesday morning. Their deployment marks another escalation in President Donald Trump's actions towards the demonstrations, which erupted last Friday. This video from Monday shows police as they began to disperse hundreds of demonstrators who gathered outside a federal detention center in downtown Los Angeles where immigrants have been held. Meanwhile, National Guard forces formed a human barricade to keep people out of the building. Those National Guard troops were part of a contingent of 2,000 deployed by Trump to the city on Saturday. On Monday, the Pentagon confirmed that the contingent would be doubled to 4,000. California Governor
4,000? That's insane. So yeah, this is just Trump really playing his hand, right? We've known that he's wanted to crush political dissenters for a long time using military force, and now he's finally doing it. It looks like this is an excuse that he's using. People resisting against ICE. This is an excuse that he's using to simultaneously draw power away from Democratic governors by using their own National Guard against them, and increase his own power by taking their National Guard and sending in Marines to basically squash political dissent.
Gavin Newsom said in the Monday post on X, his state was suing the Trump administration to block deployment of the National Guard and the Marines, arguing that it violates federal law and state sovereignty. Trump, in turn, said he supported a suggestion by his border czar, Tom Homan, that Newsom should be arrested over possible obstruction of his administration's immigration enforcement measures. A U.S. official speaking on condition of anonymity said that for now, the Trump administration was not invoking the Insurrection Act. The 1807 law would allow troops to directly participate in civilian law enforcement. It was last invoked in 1992 by President George H.W. Bush in response to the Rodney King riots in Los Angeles. Even without invoking the Insurrection Act, Trump can deploy Marines under certain conditions of law or under his authority as commander-in-chief. Though military forces have been deployed domestically for major disasters, such as Hurricane Katrina, it is extremely rare for troops to be used domestically during civil disturbances.
I mean, it's so funny when we talk about the legality of this just supports what I always say, where laws and procedures are put in place for basically the Democrats to cite them as a reason that they can't achieve things, and for the Republicans to ignore them and just do whatever they want anyway. Sure, when they face stiff resistance from courts, sometimes now we're seeing them bend in the slightest way possible. That's another thing that we need to talk about. Kilmar Abrego Garcia was finally allowed back into the country and is now facing a completely bull trial. But if there's a law that explicitly says you can't do something, then Donald Trump will just do it anyway. He doesn't care. So let's read a little bit of this article. The Trump administration on Monday ordered U.S. Marines into Los Angeles and intensified raids on suspected undocumented immigrants, fueling more outrage from street protesters and Democratic leaders who raised concerns over a national crisis. This is the other thing. They have arrested like 10,000 immigrants. Let's see. ICE immigrant detentions. Detention management. I need to find the total number. On the 6th of June 2025, according to the most recent data as of June 1st, Immigration and Customs Enforcement is detaining 51,302 people in its facilities. 51,000 people. The first time the total number of detainees has surpassed 50,000 since September 2019. Back then, ICE reported detaining 50,922 individuals. What? But then why would it say, oh, so they held the 50,922 in September 2019, and now they're detaining more than 50,000 people. But how many people have they deported? Immigration deportations. That's not how you spell deportations. Counting arrests, detentions, and border crossings. A little bit old. President Donald Trump came into office, 51,026 as of June 5th. ICE told Congress last year that as of July, it had identified 435,000 undocumented immigrants with criminal convictions who are not in custody. It is not clear how many of those criminal non-citizens have been arrested or deported. Meanwhile, data from Customs and Border Patrol shows that unauthorized crossings at the southern border have plummeted. Okay, that's not really giving me what I want to find. How many people have they deported? 51,302 in detention on June 1st. And you can see, I guess this is like in May 2020, May 2021, or this is 2020, 2021. It's at an all-time low underneath 10,000. And then you can see how the number of people being detained by ICE has increased even before Donald Trump got into office. 43.7% of ICE immigrant detainees have no criminal record. Yeah, I'd like to double check those numbers too. People booked into ICE detention during May 2025, 28,797. So about half the people they're holding were booked the last month. But can we not see how many people were deported? How many people has Trump deported? Don't want to see AI. All right, let's see what this is. Migrationpolicy.org. The first 100 days, Trump 2.0 has dramatically reshaped the U.S. immigration system, but is not meeting mass deportation aims. Greater border enforcement policy and mass deportations were two major pledges. In its first 100 days, his administration has raced to meet those goals and so many others. Apparently Stephen Miller has just been yelling at ICE, like yelling at the heads of ICE, and this is why you're now seeing them ramp up their deportation efforts, escalating it and deporting people at homes, at restaurants, at schools. So, man cries school deportation. Like, it's just all over the place. Indian
now,
student.
a disturbing video from the United States is drawing outrage back home.
Like, you can just search up any kind of horrible thing and there will be a story of someone getting detained by ICE.
Video shows an Indian student handcuffed and pinned to the floor at the Newark airport, allegedly just before being deported. The incident, which took place on the 7th of June, has triggered a wave of concern about the treatment of Indian nationals abroad. The video, shared by Indian-American entrepreneur Kunal Jain, shows a visibly distressed young man, reportedly a student, being restrained by U.S. authorities at the New York Liberty International Airport. Jain claims the student was about to board a flight but was instead detained, handcuffed, and later deported. Meanwhile, the Consulate General of India in New York has acknowledged the incident and said they are in touch with local authorities.
Yeah, so just like you search up for one circumstance, you find something else, but it's just as bad. School leaders try to calm deportation fears.
We've been covering the fears of local immigrants since Donald Trump won the election. Tonight, ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco has new information on what local school districts are doing to calm concerns.
Natasha Martinez is a newly hired special ed aide at Perkins K-8 school in Barrio Logan. Martinez's children are also enrolled at the school. The family is seeking asylum from Venezuela.
I was a teacher in my home country, and I love that I can continue my profession here.
There are roughly 35 other families from Venezuela who have children at this school. Martinez says she isn't worried about mass deportations under a second Trump administration. She's been processed and given permission to work.
As long as we're following the law.
Bro, what? Have you been keeping up on the news? When did this video come out? Like, I understand being delusional in order... Oh, this was 6 months ago. Okay, that's funny. But yeah, this person is the exact type of person that is getting deported. Oh, we're following the book. Like, how many people are getting literally snatched up when they leave their courtroom hearings? Courtroom hearing, ICE. ICE arresting migrants at immigration court hearings.
A Massachusetts teenager set to go before an immigration judge this afternoon. 18-year-old Marcelo Gomez da Silva was arrested by ICE agents while he was driving to high school volleyball practice last Saturday. Authorities say the operation was targeting da Silva's father. Now his family and classmates are calling for the teen's release. Meanwhile, advocates...
They kept him? They kept him? Like, dude, it's so comical. They're just evil people. And then when they arrest someone, they're like, oh, you're the wrong guy? Whatever, we'll hold you anyway. And then you have to have these little kids, like, protesting a fascist regime because they're like, we just want our classmate to be released. Just absolutely insane that this is happening in our country. And it seems like the people are resisting. The immigrants that have been targeted by ICE understand that they can't be out in public, and they understand that their lives are at risk. And yet, what are we getting from the Democrats? What are we getting? We're getting like Gavin Newsom. I mean, he is being performatively outraged, but where are all of the other Democrats, man? Even Bernie Sanders is like, oh, we can't really protest that hard because otherwise it's going to give ICE a reason to come in and like crack some skulls. Like, we'll get into that later.
Over a dozen people in Chicago are in ICE custody after attending what they thought was a routine immigration check-in. Let's bring ABC's Maria Villarreal for more. And Maria, you have some original reporting about people being detained as they showed up to scheduled immigration hearings. What'd you find out there?
You know, Diane, we've actually been following this for the last few weeks. We have a team that has been watching this both in New York, in LA, in Texas as well. We were able to get down to the San Antonio courts. And the reason why we chose this particular location was because just about a week ago, we saw immigration advocates that were at the court actually document what was happening inside these immigration hearings, which was very concerning to them. You know, families who had been used to showing up to these immigration courts and speaking with immigration judges about the status of their cases were then walking out and being detained by ICE. Initially, it was very confusing for a lot of the families that were there, not to mention the attorneys and the advocates that were representing these people, but slowly but surely, they were able to piece together what they were seeing. And then we went and also watched this occur yesterday as well. Basically, what was happening in the courts that they were able to document is that, you know, migrants were coming in to check in on their immigration cases. While they were there listening to their cases for removal, you know, the Department of Justice would basically tell the judge, listen, judge, we want to go ahead and have this case dismissed. Obviously, if you are a person there that is not familiar with how the legal system works, you don't have representation as a migrant that is there just trying to, you know, follow the law as best as possible. You're surprised and maybe even, you know, actually excited about the fact that your case is going to be dismissed. But what would then happen is once the case was dismissed, as long as there were no objections, that particular person would walk out of the court, and then that's when they would see or be met by ICE agents. Initially, again, very confusing situation occurring. Obviously, more information has come out over the last week that this could be a tactic being used by the administration that falls in line with expedited removal, which we know that the Trump administration has tinkered with over the last few months in order to, you know, get more people deported from our country.
So what are immigration advocates saying about these kinds of arrests?
I think there's a major concern. Listen, we saw it yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I think there's a major concern. Immigration advocates are majorly concerned that the immigrants they're representing are just getting illegally detained. Yeah, no f***ing shit, there's a major concern.
But guys, consider signing up for memberships. It helps me out, helps my editors out. Only $1 a month, so it's really not a big deal. Your name can be green. That will be cool. And thanks for watching, everyone.